For 4 months and 21 days, a part of my life was behind the walls of this hospital. My niece Aakyra Renee Miranda was born June 4th, 2007 with a long list of health problems. She would never get the chance to go home. Aakyra was born to Peter Miranda, my brother, and Winona Lawton. Both parents were incarcerated at the time of birth, which left my parents and I fighting just to get a glimpse of our new family member.
We asked to see the baby, and they said that we couldn't see her. And I said, well, I'm her grandmother. And they wouldn't let us see her. They said, you have to be the guardian. And from then, that's how hard it was to start to see her. The next day, my husband got on the phone and talked to the social worker there and said, we're not written as to be the person to pick her up or guardianship, but we are her we're her biological grandparents.
When we first saw the baby, we were the grandparents. We just loved her so much when we first saw her. We saw our son. I mean, yeah, he can't deny her. I mean, just looked like her, and she was ours. We were going to do everything we could to make sure she was okay at that point. Mm-hmm. So I guess the thoughts we had about not getting involved or anything like that just went right out the window. Because, you know, at that point we said, we're it.
The first time I saw my niece, I knew that we had to be related. I'd pick out every feature and try to link it back to me in a way. She was my blood. I was too busy making plans of taking her to Disneyland or taking her to the park. I wanted to be the cool aunt. Both my parents and I didn't know the extent of her conditions and what was in store for us.
You know, at first she seemed like it was going to be okay, because like all they had was a little feeding tube up her nose and a little breathing tube to help her. She took the breathing tube off herself one day, and they found that she was doing okay. So we said, my God, this is going to be okay, because she could breathe on her own. And then a few days later, they found that it wasn't working. They needed to provide oxygen to her. So the next step was to, they talked about a trach, which means an opening in her passageway with a tube and ventilator. Another problem she had is her ability to suck milk in. She didn't have those muscles developed, so she couldn't suck on a bottle. So they had to do a feeding tube. So when they operated on her, they did 3 operations, 3 things at one time. They did the trach, the tube, feeding tube, and they also had to tie her reflexes, because she always threw things back up when she ate. So I mean, she went through a day of a real hard day there. And it just seemed like that from that day forward, nothing went right for her. She'd do okay a few days, then all of a sudden she just started doing bad, and then bad. So she just continued on a downslope.
We all had hope that a miracle would take place for Aakyra, but it seemed that every week she would get worse. On October 25th, 2007, 10 days away from her turning 5 months old, she was taken off the ventilator. Despite the doctor's warnings that she may struggle once off the vent, she went peacefully in her sleep. The next day we had to go tell my brother that he wasn't going to be able to meet or hold his daughter. Although Aakyra's time with us was short, she taught us many things. I know that I will see her again someday, but until then I have the memory of a strong and brave little girl who I'm proud to call my niece.
You are my sunshine. I have to sing it. You're my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know how much I love you. And I would say, Aakyra, please don't take my sunshine away.